morning, everyone. What is the connection between the way we think and our physical health? We are going to explore this fascinating topic with Tatiana Miller, a yoga therapist, mental health, and Ayurvedic health counselor. Tatiana is also an anxiety and trauma specialist as part of a hospital. Tatiana has studied with renowned teachers like Deepak Chopra and Dr. Mark Halpern. Welcome, Tatiana.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you this morning. And we can just go ahead and get started. So I'll tell you a little bit about my journey into the mind-body medicine. Some people call it alternative medicine or holistic medicine. Throughout my life, I've had some different sort of health obstacles. I was told I had cancer, and it turned out that I didn't. I was told that I needed to take my thyroid out, and I was taking a lot of thyroid medications, and turned out I really didn't need them. So those things in my life sort of sent me to start searching for different ways to be in tune with my body and different methods to feel functional and to feel healthy. And what sent me into studying holistic medicine was I had a very severe back injury, and I was paralyzed, and I was told I would probably not be able to walk. And I could never accept that in my psyche. I never accepted it. There was something in me that said, I just won't accept that. And that was I think my strongest encounter with the mind-body connection. I had the doctor looking at me saying, I don't think you can walk. And I was saying to the doctor, yes, I can. And I said, I'm going to try. And I tried, and I did. And that showed me in my mind, body, and spirit that the mind-body connection is probably the most important relationship that you can develop within yourself, and just in life in general. So my passion is to share with people and show people how important it is to have a good relationship with yourself and to learn how to tune in with your mind and body and the connection between the two. So today we're going to talk about what I tell patients. So I'm part of the pain team, which is part of the neurology department at my local hospital. And when I walk in to see patients, they might have anything from seizures to a migraine to maybe they were just in a bad accident. Maybe they just had heart surgery. I see patients in every department. I am available to any patient in the hospital. And the very first thing that I try to do when I walk in to see them is to help motivate them and be a cheerleader for them, that they set up their mindset as the GPS for their body. So your brain tells your nervous system if things are okay or not okay. And of course, I'm simplifying because that's an easy way to understand how neurotransmitters and all the chemicals that your brain releases into your body work. So when we're healing, even if we're not sick, our body's always trying to find balance. Your body is, in my opinion, the most amazing machine ever created. And it's a machine that's programmed to find balance. So every aspect of your body is always trying to be in balance, whether that be your pH or that be your digestive system. It's always saying, do I need this? Do I not need this? How do I find balance? And your thoughts will tell your brain what chemicals to send into your nervous system. And then your nervous system tells the rest of your body, keep going, stop, don't keep going. That's the flight or flight mechanism, right? And so the really amazing thing that I've learned in my journey and in my studies and with working with patients is that, as Deepak Chopra taught me, there are only two kinds of thoughts. That is it. Your brain only registers two kinds of thoughts: positive thoughts or negative thoughts. And these thoughts affect the energy systems in your body, because if we remember from a long time ago, science, right? Everything is energy. And our body is like this electrical circuit of energy. Our heart is energy, our nervous system is energy. And so your body reads positive or negative thoughts as energy. Positive thoughts create a deposit in your body of $1, let's say. Negative thoughts create a withdrawal in your body of $5. So positive thoughts need to come a lot more than negative thoughts, right? To counter the negative thoughts. But why does that matter? Well, that matters because every time you have a positive thought, as you can see in this first slide, that is coming from love. And your body considers that a deposit. And whenever we are in that state, your body's working really well. It's what we call flowing, right? That's a yoga therapy term. When we're flowing with our energy, things seem easy. And your body reads it as easy. The neurotransmitters that are getting deposited into your system are good ones. Dopamine, all those feel good things. So your body can heal if you're ill, or it can get to the balance that it seeks if you're not ill. Well, let's talk about what happens when we have negative thoughts on the next slide. So when we have negative thoughts, that stems from fear, and fear automatically triggers the fight or flight mechanism in the body, which means that your nervous system sends a stop signal to your digestive system, to all of the systems that are trying to help you and seek balance. So when you have an ailment, or when you are exercising, let's say, or doing yoga, I am sending messages to my body that are contradictory. So I am sending messages to my body that are contradictory, meaning if I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this, as I'm doing my yoga practice, or as I'm on my run, or as I'm sitting in the hospital trying to heal, my body is going to respond to that. It's going to take energy. That's why we have the withdrawal. It's going to take energy from my systems that are trying to work towards healing and focus on, do we need to fight or do we need to fly away? And that is counterproductive to our health. That does not help our health in any way. That puts us in a place where we're going upstream. We're swimming against the current. So your thoughts, your positive or negative thoughts, because we only have two kinds of thoughts, are the GPS for your body. They tell your brain what chemicals, what neurotransmitters to send into the rest of your body, which then will dictate how our body is working or not working. So this is to me the foundation of our health, our mindset. My mindset when I was told I couldn't walk was, well, yes, I can. And I did, right? I dictated the GPS for my body. And so let's look at how these thoughts, these are actual scans of people in a study. And going back to what we talked about, right? So energy and motion are our emotions. So our thoughts will create our emotions. If I'm constantly thinking about how hard things are, I'm probably going to be here in contempt or in depression. Let's talk about the depression. It's a very cold feeling in our body, and it shows up in scans as cold. And it blocks, as you can see, the digestive system just doesn't work, right? So the thoughts about how hard things are or how much we can't do things, all those thoughts are going to create depression and emotions around depression. And this is how your body reacts to it. This is how your body reacts to depression. It's cold, it's stuck. Look at contempt. There's a mix here of heat and coldness. And look at the hands, right? This is a sign that's telling your body that there's tension. And love, look at love. Love is on fire, right? And we can see how our thoughts are manifesting in our body through our mind-body connection, because it's all interrelated. And anxiety, right? Anxiety is now the most common ailment for children ages 13 to 18. Um, it so kids in the United States today have the same level of anxiety as psychiatric patients in the 70s. And that's alarming. That means that we are creating a culture and a mindset of this. We are modeling it as adults to our children. And that's a very dangerous thing, which is why I'm so much for helping people understand the importance of your thoughts and how they affect your physical health. Anxiety is a mix of all of these, right? Love, depression, and contempt. We feel cold and stuck. We feel paralyzed, but we have all this stuff right here that creates heat, right? So we have gastrointestinal problems, we have headaches, we have pain that won't go away. It's creating inflammation in your body. All of this heat is inflammation in your body. And so that's why we have so much arthritis and joint pain and autoimmune diseases and things like that. And we see this all the time in the hospital, where doctors are saying, all of your tests are normal, right? But in a scan, the patient's body shows up like this, and it's because of their mind. It's because of their thoughts and their emotions. So really go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, no, this is a very interesting chart that we see here. How do you scan this? Like if I walk into a hospital or something and I'm anxious, how would a doctor scan me and bring out this kind of a map?
These are scans that scan heat in the body.
Wow.
They're looking for, yeah. So you take a one of those drinks that you would use in an MRI or a CAT scan. Yeah. And this is actually a study that was published in, I think, National Geographic. And I've been using it for years because it makes it tangible, right? What I'm talking about, it puts it into a tangible perspective as to how emotions show up in our body and how they affect our body. And that's what the foundation of holistic medicine and yoga therapy is. The root of how we feel is how we're thinking and our emotions. And so getting to the root of that, sometimes, once people understand that and kind of take grasp of their mindset and their thoughts, all of a sudden pain goes away. All of a sudden, especially back pain. Back pain is about burdens, right? It's about what we can't fix. And so a lot of back pain goes away with that. A lot of anxiety goes away with that. And Band-Aids, aren't going to fix that. And what I mean by Band-Aids are rumination, right? Talking about it over and over and over. That's not going to fix it. Digging deep and figuring out, okay, how am I waking up every morning? What am I thinking about? What am I doing? What am I putting in the container of my body of who I am on a daily basis? Those things add up to how our body is going to feel. And there's a lot of research. I think that's on the next slide. Okay, so here is a really good example, right? When I'm feeling angry or depressed or scared, my posture is going to be bad because I'm protecting myself. So my posture is like this, and I'm rounding my back, which then creates muscle tightness, which then is going to create more thoughts about pain. So maybe my poor posture started because I'm overwhelmed with COVID, right? I'm over it. My job has been affected. My children have been affected. And so I'm just like this because of my thoughts about COVID. And then muscle tightness comes in because I'm holding my body like this, which creates tightness in the body. And then I'm going to think more about, oh my God, my body hurts. My shoulders hurt. I'm so uncomfortable. I have a headache. I'm clenching my jaw, which will create more discomfort and lead to poor posture and lead to more muscle tightness, lead to more thoughts about pain, and lead to more discomfort. And that is why people end up in the emergency room with panic attacks, thinking that they're having a heart attack, because it's a cascade. Let's look at And that was with negative thoughts, right? This is with positive thoughts. So positive thoughts are, yes, COVID is happening. Yes, I've taken a pay cut. Yes, my child is affected. But what is working, right? We don't deny what's happening. It's okay to feel sad and frustrated and angry. I feel it with all of this. But I'm not going to get stuck in it, because that's going to cause me bad posture, headaches, jaw clenching, all the things we just talked about.
Mhm.
I'm going to shift, right? I'm going to shift into, I feel these things, but I don't want those things to dictate how I feel for the entire day. So I'm going to focus on what is working, right? What feels good? Well, my breathing feels good. That's working, right? Can I feel my breath flowing through my body? Yes, I can. Is my breath getting stuck? No, unless I allow it to. Then I'm going to lead to, okay, well, yeah, I can take deep breaths. Okay, well, I'm waking up this morning and I can feel good in my body. I have the option to do that. So that's going to lead to my GPS for the day of positive thoughts. I'm going to move around. I'm going to do my yoga practice or my walk or whatever I'm going to do to set myself up for the day. And I'm going to create circulation in my body. So now there's not that stuckness, that cold slide that we saw, that stuckness. And stuckness creates more negative thoughts. So when I create circulation in my body, that makes me feel warm. That makes me feel like lubricated, like things are working. I can move my arm. Okay, that's great. That's really good. And then I'm going to keep focused and doing on what feels good. And when I find myself doing the cha-cha and stepping into that negativity, I can remind myself that at any moment, because I like to say that every breath is an opportunity to shift into the positive, right? I might breathe in right now and be thinking about how stressed I am, but that next breath, I can choose to go, yes, I'm stressed, but what feels good, what's working, and shift back into that positive state. And that's what our body is always doing, right? It's shifting and it's adjusting. And it doesn't have to be stressful. It's just about accountability with our thoughts and accountability with ourselves, so that then we can be empowered to take charge of our life. And so there's a lot of research about how this works. This is actually research that I used in a ground rounds that I did for doctors at the hospital, where they were needing continuing education. And we talked about brain patterns, right? What do they look like when people are in pain? And it's like a roller coaster, and we're creating a pain map. And so we talked about, okay, well, what are some options? Like what I just talked about, breathing, right? That's a very simple, easy, free thing. And breathing actually, when you're doing it correctly, releases really good, feel good dopamine chemicals into the body. And you're not taking medicine, right? You're not taking opiates, but it has been found to be more effective than morphine when done effectively in research. And it changes your brain patterns into like smooth, easy, because we're wiping away all those thoughts, right? That's what mindfulness and meditation can achieve, is a clearing in the brain. And it's like a reset. And when you reset the brain, you're not making the pain map bigger. And so this is from the Journal of Neuroscience. Really, really interesting. I have a lot of it, but it's like heavy, deep science that not everybody enjoys. But we can get into that later if anybody wants to do that. Okay, so there's also research about opioids, right? Opioids have become a problem in our country. That is a fact. And it's because they feel good. They change your chemistry inside of your body. The good news is that you don't need pharmaceutical opiates to change that brain chemistry. We can do it by taking charge of our thoughts, by using our body in a positive way, breathing, creating circulation, eating right. All of those things create natural opiates in your body to where you don't need those medications. But again, Band-Aids and quick fixes do not take us to long-term effective outcomes. So let's see the next slide. This is a study about yoga nidra, my most favorite thing. when we're talking about poor posture and tension in the body and tightness, headaches, gastrointestinal issues, autoimmune issues, trauma, teaching somebody how to release tension from their body. I talked about the fists in the other slide, right? When you're holding a fist, which most patients that I walk into, they're like this. They're scared. They don't know what's happening. They don't know what to expect. This tension moves down here to the elbow, to the shoulder. It's a cascade in the body. And so studies have found that Yoga Nidra, and what Yoga Nidra is a process that you teach patients on how to release tension in the body and how to scan their bodies. What I was talking to you about in the beginning. How do I take accountability for my body and what I'm telling my body to do? And how do I release it into a place of feeling good so that my body can do its job? And this has been found to increase levels of dopamine in the brain by 65%. No medication can do that.
Yes. That's amazing. I mean, so this was a study, like a clinical, study that was done.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why the neurology department at my hospital is like, yeah, this is yoga therapy and holistic medicine are about the brain. They are about the brain. But, my favorite thing about Eastern medicine is that it's the original medicine, right? It's the medicine that we have been using for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And we have just forgotten. We've forgotten. And that is the very first thing that is taught in Ayurveda. Forgetting the essence of who you are is what causes illnesses. Forgetting who you are causes disease. It causes you to be in a place of unease. Mm-hmm. And it's because we've forgotten how to be who we are. We've forgotten how to be in tune with nature. Nature has everything we need to help us and teach us and guide us. Birds are not stressed when the weather changes. Plants know what to do. They don't take anxiety pills. They're not getting tension headaches. They know how to flow, right? They're not swimming upstream. And so when we talk about gray matter, that's really, really important, because gray matter is what gets produced either when we're in trauma or when we're responding to stress. It has a lot to do with pain maps. And this next study that I have here about meditation, remember, meditation is just a clearing. It's just a clearing. It's a way to relax your brain. So if you have a headache and your brain is inflamed, you have to take the inflammation away and relax the brain. The brain is an organ. So meditation is very, very good for that. And it has a direct impact on the brain's production of serotonin levels. And so that's going to reduce gray matter, which is a big deal to any doctor that's dealing with chronic pain or acute pain, or for anybody that's had trauma, because if you look at VA veterans that have post-traumatic stress disorder, their gray matter needs to be reduced. And so these are very important findings that people in the Western world are getting more and more interested in, because they've found that medications by themselves are not long-term solutions. And so holistic medicine fills this gap of that Band-Aid that pharmaceuticals can do of fixing the symptom to getting to the root and empowering the patient not to get to the symptom again, right? But medications only stop symptoms. They don't prevent you from getting the symptom again. And that's what we're filling this gap. We're filling this gap of what's the root? How do we not get to the symptom again? So it's like a timeline, right? A, B, C. B is when the person ends up in the emergency room or in the hospital because of symptoms, but we're not doing anything from A to B or from B to C. And that's called preventative medicine. And that's what, Ayurveda, yoga therapy, holistic medicine, that's what that is. And the more people know about it, the healthier we'll be, the better we will feel in our bodies.
Absolutely. And I think, especially here in this country, I feel that, I myself did not know much about yoga therapy, but I always associated yoga as going to more like an exercise, like a core power yoga or, you know, but all read a lot of research on the mindful meditation part of it, but not people
Right.
know how to get started. What do we do?
Right,
That's
right. Well, it's you get started a little bit at a time, right? So a 1% change in your daily habits can create a ginormous difference in your overall health. And what I mean by a 1% change is 5 minutes a day of
yeah.
deep diaphragmatic breathing and relaxation. That can change your life. It's that easy. That is yoga therapy. And, or starting to walk, not on your phone, not listening to music, but taking a 15-minute walk in nature by yourself, listening to your body, paying attention to your body. That's how you can start. Those are easy, free ways to start. That's what this biofeedback and heart rate variability teach patients. It's about what information is my body giving to me, because a lot of us are sort of dissociated from our bodies. And so instead of treating our body like it's ours, we treat it like it's foreign, Like I've seen people that are like, oh, my heart has been racing for a week. What? What do you mean your heart's been racing for a week? Your heart shouldn't be racing. But they don't take this. I always tell people, your body doesn't lie. Your body doesn't lie. We, in our thoughts, justify and rationalize and lie to ourselves, but our body is going to tell us the truth. If we listen to our heart rate, it's going to give us information. That's what blood pressure is, right? But we can listen to it without a cuff, without a medical person in front of us. We can learn to do that. And the more we learn to deal with our vagal tone, the less stress we feel. The lower biomarkers of stress that we'll have, the more resilient we will be, the better cognitive function we will have. That's why I've trained surgeons before they do surgery to clear their mind and breathe and prepare themselves so that they can perform better in these very acute little surgeries that they're doing. And so the last study that we have here is hypertension. Hypertension can be prevented if we listen to our bodies. You just don't wake up one day with hypertension. It's a cumulative effect, and it has to do with listening to your heart, with watching your body, with noticing your habits, because it becomes a cycle of deprivation, not enough air, your heart's beating too fast, not enough sleep, bad nutrition. It's just a cycle. But if we listen, if I wake up today and my heart races for most of the morning, I need to take a minute away from my day and figure out what to do for my body instead of just continuing on. And that has to do with our thoughts, right? I need to get this done. I'm so stressed out. I'm never going to finish. Well, we need to shift. What is working? What is working is that I hear my heart giving me information. Let me deal with that and then feel good and then go and attack your day. And I think that's okay. So this is my favorite thing to share with patients. And it's an SOS. Everybody knows what SOS means, even kids. And it's easy, right? We stop and you listen to your body. Because a lot of times we can't stop our thoughts. So we listen to our body and we decide to be proactive, not reactive, because when we're reactive, we continue the cycle of negative thoughts. And then you observe and you break it down and you look for, okay, what is the root? Why do I feel like I can't take a break from this? Why do I feel like I have to keep thinking about how stressed out I am or how worried I am or how much I hate this person? Or why do I need to do that? And most of the time you'll find that comes from fear. There's a fear of something, which is why we need to shift back into positivity and love. And then you shift, right? You make the choice to shift. I'm no longer going to focus on punching my shoulders, clenching my fists, thinking about all the things that are making me not feel good. I'm going to focus on what's working, because that little change will change your situation. So this is a really good method. It takes practice, right? And that's why yoga therapy is about practice, right? Practicing so that then when you're out in the world, you have those tools, because practice makes perfect. If I practice tuning into my body with movements and staying focused on my movements and my breath, it's going to be easy for me out in the world to do that when somebody gets in my face and confronts me.
Okay. So this is fascinating what you talked about. So my question is that all of us get negative thoughts, especially during these times of COVID. So is there a particular type of breathing that you would recommend for us to get rid of those negative thoughts and start thinking of the positive? I mean, how do we do that? I mean, if I simple to breathing, I don't know if I can get rid of my negative thoughts. So what do I do?
So that's that pause, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of people teach this like holding breath, like this 4-7-4 thing. I don't know why people are teaching that. It's very conflicting for me. Holding your breath creates more tension in your body. So if you're feeling stressed or tense, do not hold your breath. Do not do breath of fire. You need to do just a smooth inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. And the way that you stop the negative thinking is by just focusing on the count. So tuning into your heartbeat, finding your heartbeat, and listening to your heartbeat and using your heartbeat as a counter. So I have my hand on my chest, I'm feeling my heartbeat, and I'm using my heartbeat to go 1, 2, 3, 4 as I inhale, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as I exhale. Because when we do that, I can't think about what I'm thinking about. I can't have a monkey brain of thoughts when I'm fully focused on feeling my heartbeat and counting my breath. You do that for 1 minute, and it's really hard to jump back into that stress cycle that you were thinking about. And practicing that, that's what I'm saying, 5 minutes a day of practicing that, it will feel good and you'll want to shift back into it. But it takes awareness, right? That's where it's easier to run away or fight than it is to be aware and do the SOS, stop, observe, shift.
Yeah, it indeed is difficult if you think about it. I don't know, 50 years back or 60 years back, most of the communities all over the world, we used to have more of a community living, so to speak. And now, as the world has shifted more towards nuclear families and more single, generally people, so the lack of the community and the love, has not diminished, but it has definitely, it is just, it's difficult to get what you were talking about earlier, to feel loved by a lot of people. So how do you overcome those kind of thoughts for a lot of people who are struggling on a day-to-day basis?
So I think, yes, I think you're absolutely right. I think where we are missing the mark is that we have to love ourselves first. And that's not selfish. That is healthy. So if I have a really strong sense of my inner resources and I love myself and I listen to my body and I respect and honor my body and respect and honor who I am, I'm going to attract friends, neighbors, relatives that will give that to me, because that is the energy that I'm putting out. If I'm putting out energy of feeling good, of love, then I'm going to attract that into my life, and I really discovered this when I started to do my meditation practice every day for an hour. Now that took years. But I remember that I started to notice animals were very attracted to me. I would be on walks. I remember this one distinct time when I was on a walk, just on my walk in my neighborhood, and this little dog ran up to me and started licking me. And the woman was like, oh my God, my dog only attacks people. How is my dog licking you? And I remember immediately in my mind, I was like, it has to be my meditation, because I've never seen this dog in my life. I didn't even know this dog was coming towards me. It was just attracted to that. And she said, I've never seen my dog allow anybody to get close, because the dog had been abused. She had rescued the dog. She said, I've never seen this little dog get close to anybody, forget lick them. And that was the moment when I knew, okay, something's happening. Something's happening here. Something's happening. And so that practice of self-love, that practice of being clear, right? Being clear in your wavelengths will allow you not only to not need what others are pulling, but to just be good within yourself. And that allows other people to give easier to you. A lot of times there's all these barriers, and we are pack animals. This isolation that's being promoted in our country right now, in my opinion, is the most unhealthy thing that you could say for people to do. Because I have heard of personal friends, parents that were in nursing homes that have passed away, not from COVID, but from loneliness, because they were used to seeing their relatives, and all of a sudden they're not allowed to come in and see them. And so, you hear couples that have been married for, a long, long time, and one dies and the other dies right away. And it's not because they're sick, it's because their heart is broken. We are pack animals. We need one another. But before you can relate to another person in a healthy way, you have to be healthy within yourself.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. So with that thought, I think we want to tell all our viewers to self-love, what you are talking about, have your positive thoughts. Anything else you would like to add before we wrap up today?
I don't think so, but I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope that you guys can get something out of it. And I always call it like a resource, like a toolbox. You have a toolbox, and now you, after this talk, can put some of these tools in that box and pull them out when you need them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we will be coming up with more programs in next month, which we would be letting everyone know. Thank you so much for joining us today. And
thank you.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. And for all the viewers, thank you so much. Please help us share this talk and help us spread the message of love, what Tatiana is talking about.
Bye-bye.